Welcome to Reckoning Brothers, everybody. I'm Mark.
I'm Scott.
You are Scott.
Are you sure about that? You don't sound like it.
I'm pretty sure. I was distracted by Mark having his dog in his lap.
He's Scott, the handsome Jew.
I'm Josh.
Yeah, that's you do have a beautiful dog there.
This is CJ.
I saw a Dachshund Golden Retriever mix the other day,
I bet that was
and it looked like something out of a movie. It was truly a majestic creature.
That was a wild mating thing going on there. I mean,
Oh yeah, it must have been artificial.
I would imagine it's insemination.
Yeah, that must have been artificial, but yeah, it was something else. It looked like a little.
It was artificial incrimination.
Yeah, it looks like something like. I was like, Asians came up with this dog somehow. Like, I don't know how, but I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, that's what's going on here.
Racist, Scott.
Yeah, it was a tad bit racist, but not in that the normal sense. It was a positive racist moment. Before we get into anything serious, I forced Josh nearly at gunpoint to play Dungeons and Dragons, and he played earlier today with me. Him and his wife joined our group. And I know you didn't want to, and I really appreciate you opening up your mind and giving it a shot. And what did you think? Be honest.
I thought it was fun. I actually did enjoy it. The teamwork that's involved, I wasn't expecting. And I was thinking Josh was going to go rogue the whole time, and it was interesting. It was very interactive. I was surprised at that as well. The sheet that you have that I was thinking I had to print it, but you can just click it. It's great. I was impressed by that too. It seems like when they designed the software for it, they were very thoughtful in how they did it. But it was good. It was fun. I will tell you, in all honesty, I was getting a little sleepy there. I don't know if you saw me.
The Miller Lights, I'm sure, had something to do with it. I noticed you pounding those.
Yes, well, that's how I roll.
As a rule, I don't drink.
Yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I will say my wife had a fantastic time. She really enjoyed it.
Great.
But she's been getting into, you and I have talked about Dungeon Crawler Crawl. She just finished book 7. So there's a whole RPG stuff going on in there that it translated into real life when she got to see it and actually manipulate it. And I think she enjoyed it a lot.
I think one of the aspects people don't expect is that it is like cooperative problem solving, and it seems like an escape room dynamic.
It is,
I think, that a lot of people don't expect. It's you guys working together to solve problems and figuring out the way to do it, and that's most of what the game is. And people seem to like it. I'm glad that you guys had a good time. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, this is a stretch, but maybe we can drug Mark enough or get blackmail him enough to maybe play one day. I don't know. Maybe hire a prostitute, and be like, hey, Mark, we hired this dude prostitute for you. And if you play this game.
It's funny that you mentioned that because we're going to be in Vegas soon where prostitution is legal. And we all worked for the same guy who used to, Scott will not mention his name, who used to go to Las Vegas 4 or 5 times a year just to get a prostitute, just to get a hooker. Because, right, so he used to fly out to Las Vegas, get her. And I texted Josh on my way to work the other day, and I went, of course, we joke about it, blah, 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 cocaine on hookers' asses and all that stuff. But, I said to him, I'm like, so, our boss used to fly out to Vegas and with him, he was in his mid-50s. He was a little bit younger than I was. He's in his mid-50s, flying out to Las Vegas just to get a hooker. And and his preference was barely 18-year-old Latino girls. And I said to Josh, I can't imagine doing that. It's so, just disgusting and perverted. And, I'm glad that I would just never be a pig like that. And I don't know how people do that, but I guess they
And that's
do.
odd. It's oddly formulaic. Like it's almost like going and getting your taxes done the same time every year. Like only it's banging a hooker. Like
That's funny.
it's just weird, man.
I
I
do
don't know.
remember hearing that firsthand too. I mean, that's not hearsay.
No, he actually did
Uh,
that. And he would
yeah,
brag about it when he got back and then tell everybody, like, tell me and, and a couple of others, like, no, I mean, so, he would sit in the private part of the business, in the dining room or whatever and brag to his friends about, the hookers that he got, the hooker that he spent, a day and a half or 2 days with. And I'm like, man, you're like, that's just like, I don't know, man, like whatever. That's just, to me, it's just like disgusting and gross. Like I could,
can we just say, and we can end this conversation with this, but he was a large person and
Yeah.
didn't really have a lot of opportunity.
oh, he hadn't seen his own dick for like 20 fucking years. I mean, even standing in a mirror, like you'd have to be standing in like the full body mirror, and you still wouldn't be able to see his dick because it would just like the gut would like hang over it. Can you imagine inflicting that kind of like? I mean, I realize the hookers do it for money, and they're not attached to the people that are hiring them, but like, how could you subject like an 18 or 19-year-old girl to like your fat, gross, disgusting body and your carnal whatever? Ugh. All right, well, Scott,
Mm.
I sent you some stuff about shame and stigma,
Hmm.
and I think maybe, and I mentioned it last week. People used to be too proud to even take help from relatives, much less from the government. And I remember a family that I knew in New York whose grandparents came here from Italy. They were talking about their grandparents and her parents. And she said to me, my dad and my grandfather would have jumped out of the 10th story window of their little apartment, their tiny little New York apartment, before they ever would have taken anything from anybody, food stamps, welfare, anything. And she talked about how her grandfather and her dad worked 2 or 3 jobs, and saved their money for kids to go to college, etc. And they were just literally too proud to take any help from anybody. And I get it; people need help, and I'm not saying that everybody who needs help should do that. I'm saying that I think society has gotten away from a lot of this social fabric that kept families together and intact and healthy and responsible. And we're getting away from that, and we don't see nearly enough of it anymore.
It's too socially acceptable to not give anything and to constantly take.
There's a sense of entitlement too.
There's a sense of entitlement too. Yeah, it's you're owed this, you're owed this. Mark, years ago, you told me a story. This is 20 years ago. I was still learning very much at that point, right? And you told me a story. You were in the line at Kroger or another grocery, and a lady in front of you was complaining about some things that were covered by food stamps and some things that weren't.
Yes.
The lady was complaining like, "Oh, this shit's covered. Why isn't this good shit covered?" And the cashier was bantering back and forth with her
Yes.
about what was covered and what wasn't.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to you about this, and there's kind of like a weird, it's not so cut and dry where those areas are, but the fact that people are talking about it is really weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just hit me weird when you told me that story that like,
What that woman wanted covered was the hot food at the deli. She couldn't
yes,
understand why she could buy a can of this, she couldn't understand why she couldn't get hot food and cold food at the deli covered on her food stamps.
Hmm.
And the cashier was empathetic with her and she said, you have to tell them. She goes, you need to call them and tell them. We need public press. She was trying to she was
She
clicking
was
the
saying like you need to put political pressure or whatever
she
on the
was clicking
system so you can.
clicking the activist button,
Yeah.
and sharing her own personal view. She said, "You have to tell them. You got to tell them. You have to tell them. You have to tell them that that they need to make the hot food included on the food stamps." And more recently, the recent decision to not allow junk food to be purchasable with SNAP.
Which is just a good idea for health reasons.
The name
It's
of
poison. A Hostess donut is a poison that you're putting in your mouth that tastes good. That
SNAP,
is what that is. It
SNAP,
shouldn't be covered because you're poisoning people. End of
SNAP
story.
is literally a supplemental nutrition program. It's for nutritious food. It's named a nutrition program. The office is named, you know, it's literally named Supplemental Nutrition
Assistance
Program.
program.
Yeah.
So, there,
And
Mark, you've told me this several times over the years. What did it used to be? What
you
did they
mean
used to get for their assistance?
a 50-pound sack of Red Cross flour? That's what my
And
dad
a
and his family got.
bunch of beans?
Dried beans. Well, that's what they used to purchase with them, yes. They used to purchase dried pinto beans, dried navy beans, um, country ham, etc. And
Like I would be okay if it was just decent healthy food. Like if you could
right,
go get a bunch of vegetables for your family, get a bunch of meat for your family, get a bunch of rice for your family, get a bunch of bread for your family. Yeah, because you're giving a lot of these people it's a system for their children too, and you're giving poison to these kids. Like,
yeah,
it's what the fuck are you
nobody's
talking
saying
about?
that, and nobody's saying that that everybody on food stamps needs to be making a pot of pinto beans and some cornbread from scratch. That's not what people are saying.
It should at least be food, real
It should at
food.
least be food. There's a viral video that went out, I don't know, about a month ago, and it was a woman who was complaining about grocery prices, and she put everything on the island countertop in her kitchen, and it was all donuts and soda and frozen snacks, Geno's pizza rolls. Everything was frozen junk, frozen um, processed food. There wasn't a vegetable in the picture. There wasn't a piece of raw meat in the picture. And her grocery bill was $154. And she said, "This is what it cost to feed my family." She had 4 kids. A lot of people were like, "You're poisoning your family,"
Yeah.
right? She had 3 different kinds of soda. I forget how many different kinds of donuts and Hostess snacks. I forget how many kinds of, frozen jalapeno poppers. She had, frozen chicken patties, frozen Tyson chicken patties, etc. Right? There wasn't any fresh food at all, and none of us are saying you shouldn't be able to buy frozen chicken patties or a TV dinner. Nobody's saying that. What people are saying is you shouldn't be able to buy soda pop and junk food, like no Doritos, no soda pop, no donuts. That's not
Do
that's
you think
not
it
real.
makes sense to put these things in a different category other than food? Is there another word we should use for Doritos and soda other than food? It's not really food, right? It's, yeah, there's calories. Yeah, you can fill yourself up, but it's so processed. It's so far from anything we would eat traditionally. There's no way it's the slightest bit healthy for you. I think there should be another word for it,
Man,
personally.
Yeah,
all I know is I want some Doritos right
and we
now.
can segue.
It's
Yeah,
not like it's not delicious. It's not like I don't eat it, but you should be sparing. It's like it's a drug. It's like this alcohol that we're drinking right here. This is bad for me, and I know it's bad for me, and I'm doing it. But everybody knows this is bad for me,
well,
right? I know this is a vice.
yeah, and
Doritos are also a vice. It should be treated the same fucking way.
you
That's all
also
I'm
pay
saying.
for it with your own money.
Exactly.
Yes.
You didn't pay for it with somebody else's money. And Josh mentioned the word entitlement. Yeah, there's too much of that, and we can segue from that subject to something else we wanted to talk about, which was the decline of stigma and social shame. And I'm going to read something. I think it was very well written. Stigma has evaporated on our era, and along with it, much of the constant, small scale self-regulation of the community, which depends on each individual's respect for and fear of other people's judgment. In consequence, the laws have expanded both in extent and complexity to fill the void. Yet, as sanctions have been expropriated from society by the state, people feel far more free to follow their own inclinations, to disregard proprieties, and to ignore the effect of their behavior on other people and on the common good. For although the law impinges far more on their lives, they experience it as an external force with no real moral authority. The law increasingly distinguishes the public realm, where it is the sole objective, where the sole objective is authority, from the private realm, where it cannot intrude, leaving the private realm less and less regulated, despite the fact that it contains most of the matters on which the future of society depends: conduct, the rearing of children, honest dealing, and self-respect.
Who wrote that?
A person named Roger Scruton. What a strange name. Scrotum. Roger Scrotum. Roger Scruton. Scruton. The title of it is Bring Back Stigma. Without it, we've become a shameless society with disastrous consequences.
We do need stigma. There's a lot of our lives are so soft that we don't realize that things historically existed for a reason, and we assume that this soft, easy state is a natural state of humankind. It is not. The natural state of humankind is, what is it? Life is nasty, brutish, and short. That's the natural state. And there are a lot of things that we don't realize that cause these things to happen, cause our lives to be so easy. And things like stigma are a big part of that. Things like shame are a big part of that. We're awash in luxury beliefs, right? We have the luxury to believe a lot of things.
It's self-regulation. It causes self-regulation. And there's nothing wrong with self-regulating yourself. There's nothing wrong with self-respect. There's nothing wrong with pride. And when you
would you say even that it's necessary? Would you go so far as to say not only is there's nothing wrong with it, but it's necessary to have pride, to have shame?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine a world without it.
Yeah.
You know, thankfully they haven't. Thankfully, all the bathwater hasn't been thrown out with the baby. Yeah. I mean, there's still some left. There's still some bathwater left.
Josh, I don't know if you saw when we were talking last week, but this goes back to what I was saying, where people don't have to grow up anymore. And a lot of the problems are that young people do not have to grow up. You can basically stay in your parents'. Certain people, enough people, can stay in their parents' basement, never go outside, and because of technology, live some kind of life and never have to learn to grow up. Yeah. I think that's along the same lines of what Mark is saying. That stigma, that self-regulation is just a part of growing up. And the softness, generations of softness upon generations of softness, mean less and less of us have to grow up. And we can only support so many people not doing that.
I don't have any data for it, but there are tens and tens and tens of thousands of 18, 19, 20-year-olds in this country who won't go get a driver's license, who will not go get a driver's license because they've relied on being driven back and forth by their mom and dad and or somebody, right? And they're afraid to be independent, and it's been inculcated into them that all of that is okay. And they have no shame of to require other people to get them back to and from where they're going, and they don't have enough pride in themselves to get up off their ass and go get a driver's license.
And it's such a shift from when we were kids and you couldn't wait to get a driver's license and you couldn't wait to be independent. This is so foreign.
You got your driver's license on your 16th birthday. You had been enrolled in driver's ed at school, or you and your parents had saved enough money. Back then it was, a couple $100 to go to a driving school, and on your 16th birthday you went and got your license. And license,
everyone wanted to do it without exception. Every single fucking person.
And that came in an era when parents, um, had a lot of rules. That no 16-year-old in my generation was given a car at 16 and allowed to go anywhere they wanted with it. My dad looked at the speedometer. You had to be home at a certain time. If you lied about where you'd been, if you said, "Oh, I only went over to Dave's house, and then we spent the night over there, and I just went to Dave's house and drove home this morning," the speedometer got looked at. There was 100 miles on it, and the old man was like, "Yeah, no, you didn't just drive back and forth to Dave's house. I'm taking the keys, right?" And the keys got taken away from you. So you had to be like, with me, I became very ingenuitive and figured out how to unscrew the speedometer by getting underneath the car and unscrewing it from the.
Either way, he was teaching you life skills, whether direct or indirect. I love it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, yeah. So
You got to earn your right to fuck around,
what
son.
kind of rules do you have, Josh, when you got your license at 16? And you also, I think,
I didn't. I'll say I didn't get my license at 16. My parents wouldn't let me because I had bad grades. But I did get it while I was still in high school, but it was later on. But I did have that all set up. But it was street lights when they came on. Josh had to be home. Is that what you were heading at? What kind of rules?
yeah.
That tracks. I mean, those are rules. Those are steadfast, real rules that will ground a kid and, force them to follow them and grow up.
That's the thing, though. When we're talking about this whole discussion, living in your parents' basement or whatever. They don't want to leave.
That's the key, dude. That you hit the nail on the motherfucking head. Because of technology, they don't want to. There's no reason to. And when Josh, or not Josh, but the other Josh, Mark, and I were talking last week, I brought up a Bridget Fetisi quote where she's like, we could only watch so much MTV and we had to get out.
Yeah.
Technology wasn't at that point to where we could just dick around all day. Eventually you'd be like, oh God, like 1 p.m. on a Saturday, you've had enough. You got to go. You got to go.
Sure.
And that feeling doesn't exist with a huge percentage of young people now.
And it wasn't designed by people that make what is made now, and they purposely make it addictive.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's only going to get worse. If you don't believe me, watch Sora 2 videos. Have you heard of Sora 2? Sora is ChatGPT's image and video generating software. So Sora 2 was just released. It's video by prompt AI software, and it is fucking insane. Look it up. You're going to lose your mind. It's over. It's over. You watch those videos and you realize how many people lost their jobs and how many young people are fucked. You can basically put in a prompt, you can upload your picture, and you've got about a, 10-second video. And that's just right now. 10-second video of amazing quality that looks real of whatever you want to have happen on a video. Crazy. And as soon as I get access to it, you better fucking believe I'm going to take Mark's image and make as many videos as I possibly can of Mark doing shit, both hetero and homosexual. And I'm going to blast it all over the internet everywhere. It's going to be amazing. But the key point, my favorite quote that many people have made with any IA and any technology is, this is the worst it will ever be. Every moment, every technological breakthrough, you can always say, this is the worst that it will ever be. It's always going to get better.
Things are technology. Yeah, things are bad now. And I want to segue from that into lies that are being told via technology. And there's been an awful lot of big fat lies told in the last couple of days. And I just opened my news feed on Twitter X, and the very first thing I see is a lie that's gone viral. I want to debunk it now for everyone within the sound of my voice. Nobody is zip tying naked babies. ICE is not zip tying naked babies. They're not frog marching them out to the street. They're not disappearing black people. They're not disappearing American citizens. Quote, I'm looking at it right now. They are zip tying babies. They are not good guys. They are zip tying babies. They are not good guys. They are zip tying babies. Now, what happened?
That was such an eloquent quote, too, that person said. They must have studied at Harvard to have that kind of grasp of the English language.
And, and those tweets are going viral. And the fact is this. The facts are. This claim started to spread, but it's completely fake, and it isn't even ICE. It's a police officer arresting his own son as a joke. The post and the allegation are fake and false. It's a screenshot from a TikTok video in July. A compilation on juvenile crime and the child cuffs was a parody. But Cato's David Beer couldn't bother to do 20 seconds of research and uploaded it as if it's a real thing that's happening. So it shows a police officer. You can't see, what kind of uniform he's got. And the lie is that it's an ICE officer in Chicago zip tying a baby, when it was really a parody video that a cop did about arresting his own son. So a small black child, toddler, and his dad. It doesn't show the man's face. It just shows him bending over and putting zip ties on a toddler that has his hands tied behind his back. That lie went viral when ICE and the FBI and the U.S. Marshals raided an apartment complex, an apartment building in Chicago, and arrested 37 Tren de Aragua illegal alien criminals. So, what does the left want to do to counter? They're arresting babies. They're disappearing black people. So their response to arresting Tren de Aragua gang members is, look what they're doing to little black children. And it's gone viral, and people believe it, and you're going to end up with more ICE officers getting shot at. You had one, a week and a half ago, that killed himself after shooting it at the ICE facility in Dallas from a rooftop.
Not even hitting the ICE agent, but killing immigrants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So the last several days,
lefties can't shoot.
Last several days, I've seen more lies told in the last several. Every week, it's something new and crazy and insane on the internet and on social media, and every week some huge fucking lie goes viral, and people believe it, and it's going to get somebody killed.
Do you think, maybe I'm being way too
It already
optimistic.
has gotten people killed. Excuse me.
Yeah, it absolutely has. Maybe I'm being too optimistic here, but do you think AI, like Sora 2, you can easily make fake videos that look real? This is now. Do you think that because that's out there, more and more people are going to realize, hey, that video could be fake, that could be fake, that could be fake? Is there any hope that will help turn the temperature down just because of the
I don't know, Scott.
huge
I don't
amount
know.
of these fake videos?
I don't know, because here's what I do know. I know that a lot of people know that these hoaxes that they're committing are hoaxes and it's fake, and they do it anyway.
Because you have these extreme ideologues that care nothing about the facts. Their ideals are the only thing that matters, and truth doesn't matter. There's only ends, memes don't matter. Trash human beings that should not exist.
Hundreds of TikTok creators what they're doing is they're recording themselves in front of a video, right? So in the background you have this video, and they'll go, "Look what's happening in Washington D.C. today." And when you fact check it, it was, it was a protest from 2020.
Yeah, Gronk does that a lot, where he finds that quick.
In a different city, and one that went viral by the MAGA cult slayer, right? Is he uploaded a guy who has a Black Lives Matter protest. The streets are full. That's in the background, and you can see the palm trees, etc. Like, and there's no high rises, right? There's no high rises in DC either. There's no palm trees there, right? And you can tell that. And there are hundreds of people that have told this guy, and it's gotten community noted, and people are fact checking it with Grok and Perplexity, etc. He won't take it down, and he won't say, "Guys, I'm sorry, I uploaded a video that's a lie," right? Because they have no fucking shame.
And they're getting hits.
Their politics,
They're getting hits.
Their politics and their worldview means more to them than anything resembling truth telling. And I don't know how much it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I don't know how much worse, and I don't know how long that's going to last. It's bad. right?
But there's some legislation, or at least discussions of legislation for the mandate of a watermark on AI. Have you guys heard about any of this?
No, but it doesn't surprise me, and there absolutely should be watermark
The
on AI.
European Parliament's trying to do it. U.S. Senate, it's more of a discussion in the back hallways, but it is something that I've seen that I really think it's needed.
Oh, 100% it's needed.
Yeah,
You're talking to Captain Freedom of Speech right here, who says you 100% need AI to be labeled as AI every single time.
yeah.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course, and it should be a fucking
absolutely.
law.
You should. I should be labeled. I should be labeled AI.
You
I
should
should be
be,
labeled
and
AI.
dude, my whole everything I do when I fuck around with AI is just designed to make Mark the number one AI meme in all of the internet. 30 years ago, the Weekly World News was the biggest selling newspaper in the country. Correct?
Yeah,
I might be missing some
yeah.
details.
No, Bat Boy.
Bat Boy, all that shit. That's what people
Hitler's
bought.
still alive. Hitler's alive and in Argentina. Yeah.
Is it that same kind of just dumbass, knee jerk response, idiot people at the supermarket that are just buying into these things you just mentioned?
Well, it is that it is that in a fast forwarded future. Yeah, but it saturates the online environment, whereas back then the Weekly World News was sold to a tiny, like a relative tiny handful of people bought that publication, and an even smaller number of the people that bought it believing that anything in it was true. Like a lot of
It
people
was a
bought the
joke.
Weekly.
They bought it like, oh, this is going to be fun to joke around with.
Correct.
And yeah,
Now,
yeah, yeah,
Josh and
yeah.
I did know somebody that believed the Weekly World News, and he might remember this story, and we can close out with this story because it's hysterical. We had a really nice little old lady that worked at the same place that all three of us worked at, and she worked in the daytime. We worked in the late afternoon at night, and at nights. And she was a very religious woman, a dear, sweet woman, um, who was divorced. Her husband was abusive. She raised her two kids on her own, and she had a speech impediment. She was not very bright. She was um, when she was growing up. I'm sure the word retarded was used for her instead of learning disabilities or mentally handicapped or whatever. And she talked like this, people talk like this. That speech impediment. And she bought a Weekly World News at the checkout counter, and it was a picture of Jesus superimposed on a sky with clouds and a horizon. And of course, it looked as fake as you could possibly imagine. And she brought it to work with her, and she had it open on a counter in the kitchen, and she was reading it. And every time somebody walked in the back door that day, she'd close it and show the cover, and she'd say, "Jesus is coming. See, see, I told you all, Jesus was coming. It's true. I read it in the paper. It's in the paper," and she believed it.
I was thinking of someone else until you did the little
The speech impediment,
speech impediment. Yeah, then I knew exactly who you were talking about. Then
and I did not try to dissuade her from that. Like a part of me at the time wanted to go, "This is a fake magazine that has nothing but fake stories in it, and nothing you're reading in it is true or based on any kind of reality whatsoever. These are just hoax stories." We found it, everybody got, their laugh out of it, that she believed, Jesus was coming, the rapture was coming, whatever, and we're all going to get sucked up to heaven, like in what's the movie War of the Worlds? Where everybody gets sucked up in, right? We're all going to get sucked up into heaven. I guess all of us except me, who's not going there.
you're thinking of Left Behind.
You've committed way too many sins. You're
You're
not
thinking
going.
of Left Behind. War of the Worlds is the Tom Cruise one, where he's fighting
War of the
aliens.
Worlds. What did I say?
You
You
said
said
war.
War of the Worlds. I said Left Behind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What did I
Anyway,
say? What did I say, Dennis? Dennis?
yes, you did.
you're talking about the rapture, though.
She
That's
thought
what
that,
you're thinking of.
she literally thought that this superimposed bad drawing of Jesus up in the sky with the headline, "Jesus is coming, we're all going to heaven," was a true story.
And he posed for a picture.
Yeah. And she read
It's
it. She read it in the
dude,
paper. She read it
But
in the paper. It must be
we
true.
have that. We have the same stuff now, but it's saturation, like you said, but it's also real time saturation. instantaneous and to
Instantaneous.
the masses, and that's what the biggest problem is.
50,000 retweets of it.
Right.
And it's professionals and it's algorithms knowing how to push those buttons as well. So it's
28
amplification upon amplification upon specialization, and it's
You've reached
28
2,000 people before anybody debunks it.
28 million views, 45 million views, which is why, you know, like professionals that I know who I interact with in my job, you know, in my editor's job, get so frustrated with so much of what the media puts out that are also lies, right? And it's exasperating, it's exhausting, it's infuriating. Remember the Jesse Smollett hoax? Like, I saw that story and went, yeah, that's completely made up. You did not. Nobody in downtown Chicago, the MAGA people did not attack you or put a noose on you, pour bleach on you, and let you keep your Subway sandwich. You made that up. It's a hoax. You had Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and every left leaning politician in the country saying, "Gee, I'm so sorry that happened to you. This shouldn't happen." You know, and it was, yeah, things are bad. And
all right. I think that's an end.